How do you cover girl? Easy, breezy, beautiful. Cover girl. Was that good, Jeff, or should I do another take?
That was good.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. Hi, my name is Anin, and I'm 23 years old, and I just already know I'm going to be America's Next Top Model. Not only am I, really pretty, but I also just think I know it better than the other girls. I've been doing modeling since I was 8 years old, and I mean, just look at me. What did I say about taking my stuff in the house? You at least could ask. Give that back. Oh, so now you think you're gonna be better than me? Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Do you remember the America's Next Top Model video game? Well, neither do I. When I was about 8 years old, I used to love America's Next Top Model. Tyra Banks, to this day, still love the girl, but I was obsessed with her as a kid. Not that I wanted to really be a model, but the fashion, the poses, everything. I would literally walk around in my bedroom as a kid, hoping and praying that one day I could be a fashion model. But that didn't happen. I'm just a girl. But recently I discovered that there is actually an America's Next Top Model video game, and I never played it up until recently. Last week I was out of town and decided to bring America's Next Top Model with me and play it to find out how unhinged this game really is. To my surprise, this game was nothing like the television series, but I can kind of see the similarities. Today we're going to be talking all about the game to figure out if this game is still worth playing. Now before we get into it, my name is TheNinaGabriella. Welcome to my channel. If you like what you see here today, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and like today's video, and even leave a comment if you want to see more videos like this. Now let's get started and talk all about America's Next Top Model. Easy, breezy, beautiful. Am I right? Let's get started.
Alright, let's get into it. Starting with America's Next Top Model, the TV show. This show ran for 24 seasons from 2003 to 2018. It originally aired on UPN, then later moved to the CW. The final cycle premiered on January 2018 on VH1. Now this show was created by none other and hosted by Tyra Banks. Loved that girl as a child, growing up, seeing Tyra Banks. Oh my gosh, she was my legend, my icon. She did everything, okay? Now, let's say you've never watched America's Next Top Model before. Well, let's talk about that. The show takes the form of a big modeling competition, whose winners typically receive a contract with a major modeling agency and a cover photo shoot for a fashion magazine. Now, before we dive really into it, let me just say I'm sorry if I sound a little bit weird. I am not using my normal mic. I am away from home. I am traveling, so I'm editing on the go. And to add to that, this is kind of just going to be an overview of my thoughts about the game since playing it, since I've never grown up playing these games, but I did grow up loving the TV show. I figured this might be fun to do, especially while I'm traveling, so then you guys can get a little bit of fashion fun before I talk about my next big video I have coming up. So like I said, if you've never seen America's Next Top Model, you might have seen a different version in another country. I know there was a Germany's Next Top Model, there was a Britain's America's Next Top Model, it was just a Britain's Next Top Model. And I think there was even an Australian version. There's a lot of different versions of this show, but America's Next Top Model was very popular for a variety of reasons. Not only was Tyra Banks the queen of just smizing, the runway ruler, the mastermind behind some of the weirdest, chaotic, and controversial reality TV show picks of all time, this show was just overall chaotic and just strange. Me growing up, I watched America's Next Top Model all the time. I recorded every single season on my mom's TV, and when I knew a new season was coming out, I had made sure I was not doing anything that week or weekend so I can make sure I watched the newest episode. But the show was definitely questionable for the times. There was a race swapping photo shoot at one point. They had models posing underneath water, but I guess it was a different time back then. But for all its mess, America's Next Top Model undeniably changed reality TV and pop culture. It gave us the too commercial, high fashion, the art of smizing. But with all of its success, you know they had to cash in. And how did they do that? With video games. Now, in the America's Next Top Model TV show, each episode usually begins with the contestants receiving some sort of training. For example, contestants may get coached in a runway walk or doing some acting, maybe doing a mock runway show. Each episode is also usually associated with some sort of theme in the world of modeling, such as dealing with press and interviews or selling a commercial product. Then to add to the episode, there's usually a photo shoot, which may be a beauty shot or maybe posing in swimwear, whatever that might be. They'd occasionally have one of them posing in nude or semi-nude, which, again, always a little bit controversial. With the final segment of each episode involving a judging panel of fashion industry experts. Each contestant's photo or video of the week is shown to the panel, and after they have deliberated, then they get to decide who is going to be eliminated from the competition. Only one can become America's Next Top Model. And if they're in the running, then Tyra says something like, "Congratulations, you are still in the running towards becoming America's Next Top Model."
Well, congratulations. You're all in the running towards becoming America's Next Top Model.
And then proceed to go into the next person. But moving into the video game, things become a little different.
Bring out the model in you with America's Next Top Model. Exclusive to Nintendo DS. America's Next Top Model, out now.
The first America's Next Top Model game released for the Nintendo DS in 2008, then later for the Wii in 2010. Now, from what I could tell online, they do have another rendition of this game that Tyra Banks is actually in, but since I couldn't find too much information about it this time, the only games that I recently had played was the America's Next Top Model Wii and DS version. But I would like to come back to talking America's Next Top Model in the future and comparing it to some of the other TV show style games that have been turned into video games. We definitely gotta talk about Project Runway DS games, okay? But in the America's Next Top Model DS game, let's just first start with these graphics. Oh my gosh, they look completely awful. I don't know if they just ripped this off from like the first Sims or something, but they look, it looks really, really bad. But primarily I played the DS version, and then when I realized that the Wii version looks at least a little bit better, I realized I probably should have played that one. But generally speaking, both of the games are fairly the same. The only difference is that the Wii looks bigger because it's on a bigger screen, and the DS is, well, on a tinier screen, so there's that. So in this game, you get a choice of 4 playable characters you can choose from. You arrive onto the America's Next Top Model set at this big mansion, getting ready to start your journey to become an America's Next Top Model. Similar to the TV show, you live in a mansion with 9 other models who are all competing against the title with you. Every week, there's various modeling assignments that you have to do, and then at the end of the week, you finish off on Fridays with a catwalk posing session, while also being asked questions about the modeling business. If you get enough questions right and you hold those poses, you progress to the next week. You can also spend time training for the assignments, so that might include applying makeup, trying on new outfits, attending photo shoots. And to do better at some of these assignments, there's also some other things you can do, such as dieting, fitness, shopping, having conversations with the other models, or making them your rival and having fights with them for whatever reason. Regardless on how you spend your time, you need to follow a routine until you're the last woman standing to become America's Next Top Model. Similar to the TV show, there's also kind of like these themes, or I should say like fashion styles. There's like a 60s, a 70s theme, all kinds of different stuff. I think there's up to 13. To better fit the week's theme, you can use your allowance that you get every week to go shopping and get new outfits. And just like in the TV show, the judges will judge your runway walk along with your outfit that you had chosen from shopping over the week. So now you kind of have an overview or a brief understanding of what this game is about, but let me just tell you, this game is a trip. Like, I think I was cracking up, and I think it's mainly because of the nostalgia reasons. This game is not really very close in the similarities of what the TV show is like, but I do see kind of how they would come to making a game that shows that same sense of nostalgia. I just couldn't stop laughing. There's just so much weirdness in this game that I just had to talk about it. I think they wanted to add some of the drama and like the cattiness of America's Next Top Model that you will sometimes see in a few of the episodes, where some of the models may not get along with one another, or maybe they're fighting with their boyfriends, whatever that might be. I think they were trying to emulate that within the game, and I just don't think it works as well as it does on a TV show. Some of the things that I found interesting in this game while playing it is that, so when you start the game, you come into the show with your boyfriend congratulating you, telling you that to call him every week to remind you that you're going to do a great job, so on and so forth. As the game progresses, there are some instances where he will even come and visit you. But to add to that, you don't have to just stick with your boyfriend. You can actually romance multiple men in the game. Now, I didn't get so far in the game to see if really anything comes from this. I think the only thing that might happen is you might lose some privileges with shooting with male models or something, but otherwise, nothing really comes from this other than the fact that you can romance a multitude of men in the game all at the same time. There's even some rivalries with the other models concerning some of the guys, which kind of leads me into my next point, is talking about your rivals. So each of the models kind of have their own personalities. Some will like you more than the others. Now, your goal isn't necessarily to be mean to them, but they say that if you are a better spirited model, the better your, looks are. A rude model would look worse, which, I guess I can agree with that to an extent, pretty on the inside and out. Yay. So you're overall supposed to be nice to the models, but there are times where, regardless of what you will say, some of the models will really not like your response, and that will trigger a fight. Like, I think this is so unhinged. Like, they literally did not need to put this in here, and there's really nothing that comes from it other than the fact that you fight with a model and then they dislike you. And this is an actual scene. You have to either push or pull them, do whatever you have to do with your stylist to stop the other model from fighting you. I kid you not, I was laughing. Like, what is the reason for them having had put this in a game? Make it make sense. Now, visually speaking wise, this game is really hard on the eyes. I just think that the graphics on when they had made this for the DS, it wasn't equipped to handle this. It looks absolutely terrible. Like I said, it does look a bit better on the Wii, but overall they are the same games. It's just that the DS one is just so hard, especially with the stylus. I'm telling you, I was really struggling. It looks horrific. This game was not rated the best in terms of just the gameplay and visuals in general, and I can't see why. Now, I do think that if I was playing this game when it first came out, I would think the exact same thing. I don't think I would even be able to give this game a 2 out of 5 stars. But nostalgia-wise, playing this game gave me so much nostalgia, and I honestly loved it. There are a lot of similarities that remind me of America's Next Top Model. Not only are you doing your hair, you're doing makeup, you get a choice of clothes, you're doing catwalks, photo shoots, you're shopping and you're styling things. That's all the kind of stylistic things I love about fashion games anyway. But to mix it with one of my favorite TV shows when I was younger, I just thought I had the best of both worlds. Now, if they could just clean up those visuals just a tad, we would be talking here. But there are a couple things that I think this game lacks, which I can agree with. I don't think this is a very body positive game. There's a lot of times where they just call you fat or lazy. For instance, the food choices in the game of what your model has to eat to maintain her fitness are really lacking. You're not even able to eat something as simple as like a hot dog without losing points, where you have to run to the gym so you can lose your quote unquote fatness, and if you gain too much fatness, they'll just think you're ugly, so everything just starts going down the trash. But I think that's just not very good, at least not in today's age. I can see maybe the humor of it back in the day, but I don't think it's necessary. I think back then there was a big stigma on what models should eat back then, but nowadays we really don't have that. Or we shouldn't, I should say. Another thing is that this game is really grindy for no reason. Getting your levels up, doing the photo shoots, the hair, the makeup, it can all get really repetitive really fast, but you really have to do these things if you want to get into those next ranks. I do think the exploration in the house and exploring the little city area is actually pretty neat, but I do think that could totally be a lot more fleshed out, with maybe giving the characters, and by the characters I mean the other models, more personalities. I think that's one of the things that a lot of people liked about America's Next Top Model, was learning the stories of the models. You don't really get that with these girls. They're kind of just random, and they kind of just say random things. As much fun as I had with playing this game as I did, I do see that there are times where it can get a little bit boring, especially because visually speaking, not only does it look super awful graphics wise, but the world isn't that visually appealing either. There's a lot of just blank spaces no matter how far around you walk in. Another thing to add to this is that where are the iconic characters? There's no Tyra Banks in here. Second of all, this game lacks is the iconic people. Like, where is Tyra Banks? Where is Jay? You know, where is the people on the judges panel that made me crack up? I think if they were in here, the photographer even, whatever his name is, I thought all those people really just made the show. You can't have an America's Next Top Model game without the iconic people. Without the title, this literally could just be any sort of fashion game with a little bit of cattiness. But that's why I would really like to go back and talk about this game some more and comparing it to some of those other game show games like Project Runway, Survivor. How did those games kind of fare in some of this? Now, granted, I have watched a bunch of other YouTubers who have made videos talking about America's Next Top Model, even full playthroughs, so definitely, if you want to see more of that, I highly recommend checking some of them out. But I can see why so many people had fun with this, because if you're looking at it from just a nostalgic standpoint, this game is hilarious. It does remind you of America's Next Top Model in some ways, but I think if you're looking at it in a long-standing point about how long you might actually want to play this and for how long, being that it can be a bit glitchy, there's a lot of repetitiveness, I can't see myself playing this game for anything more than like 20 plus hours. And that's just kind of stretching it, to be honest. I just don't think this game has enough replayability. Like, even the storyline of the game, it is already planned for the NPCs of which characters are going to be eliminated every week. So even with that, if you replay the game, you already know who is going to be eliminated. But as far as the charm goes, this game really made me remember America's Next Top Model to the fullest. It made me want to rewatch the show. I think every girl who grew up watching America's Next Top Model or any of the Model Top shows grew up thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds like so much fun, or I really want to try that, or the stakes are so high, I can't believe they did that. Putting all of that thought process into a game, I feel like as a kid, I don't know if I would really like this game as a kid. Which kind of brings me into my next point. I don't really know who this game is targeting for. Now, America's Next Top Model was kind of like a reality television competition type of show. A lot of this happened in real time, each happening a week at a time with all of these models growing into being better models. Now, I had to have been maybe 7, 8, 10 at the latest watching this show growing up, but if I have to think about who the average viewer of America's Next Top Model was probably teenagers. But that being said, I can't see a lot of teenagers rushing out to go get America's Next Top Model, the video game. I guess you have to capitalize on everything, but to be honest, playing this now in 2025, I can really only recommend this for pure nostalgic reasons. Unlike some of the other fashion games where I can always say, I recommend you trying this, you should go and check this game out. This is one of the games where I have to be a little on the iffy side about. If you grew up watching the show and you just want a little bit moment of bliss and funny moments here and there, I'd say go ahead and try it out. That's the whole reason I tried it out. But other than that, I can't really recommend this as a game you totally have to play in today's age. Now, like I said, I would love to do some comparisons of this game in the near future. This is just kind of a fun little tidbit of what I'm playing this week sort of video. I just don't know if I could really recommend this being a super fun game right now if you love styling games. Like, the graphics are so bad, can you even see the outfits you're choosing? But for what it's worth, I thought this was fun. It made my trip by just playing this on the airplane. Other than playing Persona, I mainly played this just because it gave me a little laugh. So if you want to see your model flirt with a bunch of random guys, get beaten up during some fashion walks, respond to some really awkward Q&A sessions, doing some strange exercises, balance tests, poses, you name it, then well, this is the game for you. Let me know in the comments what games we should compare this to in another video, and let me know if you've ever played this game before.
No, because this game is so unhinged. Overall, though, I didn't hate this game. I think it was just kind of strange as a concept for a fashion DS game and Wii game, but overall, I liked it. Let me know what you think down below. Be sure to give this video a like and a subscribe if you want to see more things like this, and I hope to see you in my next game review. Bye!